Here's the thing. When it comes to money, especially online, it's either flexes or fear. Either someone's retiring at 28 or they're drowning in credit card debt. But what's the actual reality for most people? In this video, we'll be using data straight from the Federal Reserve to break it all down, age by age. What's the average net worth at 25, 35, 55? And how do you really compare? This isn't about feeling bad or trying to keep up. It's about understanding where you stand and where you could go. Because once you see the full picture, it's a lot easier to stop comparing yourself to that one guy on Instagram who made 6 figures flipping Pokemon cards. Before we jump into the numbers, let's quickly define what net worth even means. Because it's one of those phrases people throw around like it's common sense. But if you've never sat down and calculated yours, you're not alone. Net worth is simple on paper. It's everything you own minus everything you owe. That's your cash, your car, your investments, your house, minus your debts, like student loans, credit cards, or that car loan you kind of regret. It's not your salary, it's not your income. You could be making 6 figures and still have a negative net worth if you're buried in debt. Or, on the flip side, you could be making $50,000 a year and stacking assets like a champ. That's why net worth is such a powerful number. It shows the full picture, not just what you make, but what you've built, or what's holding you back. So when we look at net worth by age, we're not just comparing paychecks, we're looking at how people are growing or not growing financially. Now, let's get into the actual numbers. Let's start with the underdogs, people under 35. This is the group that's usually still figuring things out. Student loans, low starting salaries, maybe renting an apartment with 3 roommates. And yeah, sometimes your idea of net worth is whatever's left after rent and gas. The average net worth in this group? Around $39,000, according to the Federal Reserve. And honestly, that's not bad, especially when you consider most people in their 20s are still building a career, maybe saving a little, maybe investing a little. For most people under 35, this is the building phase. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. If you're investing anything at all, paying down debt, or stacking some savings, you're ahead of the game, even if it doesn't feel like it. And remember, your net worth in your 20s or early 30s doesn't predict your whole future. It's just the starting point. Now we're talking 35 to 44. This is when a lot of people start to feel the pressure. You might be a few years into your career, maybe you've bought a home, or maybe you're juggling a couple of kids, a mortgage, and wondering how groceries got so expensive overnight. The average net worth here? About $135,000. It's a big jump from the under 35 group, and that's because these are the years when people typically earn more and, hopefully, spend a little smarter. Maybe you've been investing in a 401k, building equity in a house, or just avoiding lifestyle creep. Shout out to everyone still driving their decade-old car. But don't let comparison creep in either. A lot of people hit this age and feel like they're behind. Truth is, just being consistent, saving, investing, and staying out of big debt traps is often enough to stay on track. You don't have to win the money game overnight. Now we're in the 45 to 54 range. What many call the peak earning years. You've probably been working for 2 decades or more, and ideally, your investments have had time to grow. But let's be honest, this is also the age when life hits hard. Kids, college tuition, aging parents, bigger bills, it adds up fast. The average net worth for this group, around $247,000. By this point, those early 401k contributions might be starting to look real, especially with compounding doing its thing. If you've been consistent, you're probably feeling more confident about the future. Even if there's still a little voice in your head saying, "Is it enough?" That's normal. The trick here is staying the course. Don't let lifestyle inflation eat away your progress. You're not just earning more, you should be keeping more. These are the years where every good habit pays off big time later. All right, 55 to 64, the final lap before retirement. For some people, this is when everything starts clicking. The house is almost paid off, retirement accounts are growing, and you've hopefully dodged any major financial disasters. The average net worth here, about $300,000 to $64,000. At this stage, the focus usually shifts from building wealth to protecting it. You're thinking about when to retire, how much you'll need, and whether your money will actually last. And yeah, that question keeps a lot of people up at night. But if you've been investing steadily for the past 20 to 30 years, chances are you've got a solid base. And if you haven't, there's still time to make smart moves, downsizing, catching up on retirement contributions, paying off high-interest debt. Small changes now can have a big impact later. Now we've hit 65 and up. For many, this is retirement, or at least the point where you're thinking, did I save enough to stop setting alarms forever? The average net worth in this group is around $409,000. This is usually the most financially secure stage of life, or the most stressful, depending on how well you planned. Some people are drawing from pensions, IRAs, and Social Security. Others might still be working part-time just to stay afloat, or because they enjoy it, or can't sit still. The big focus here, sustainability. Making sure your savings can carry you through healthcare costs, market dips, and hopefully a few decades of post-work freedom. And the people who tend to do best, they're not the ones who made the biggest income, they're the ones who made consistent, smart choices over time. It's not about perfection, it's about preparation. So, what does all of this actually mean? Well, first, if your net worth doesn't line up with the numbers we went through, don't panic. Averages can be helpful, but they don't tell your whole story. Maybe you started late, maybe you had setbacks, or maybe you're crushing it and feel like you're ahead of the game. Wherever you are, the key is to use this as a checkpoint, not a judgment. Second, the biggest factor across every age group wasn't luck or some crazy investment. It was consistency. The people building real wealth weren't jumping in and out of the market or chasing the next big thing. They were just sticking to a plan, letting time and compound growth do the heavy lifting. And third, wealth looks different for everyone. For some, it's a paid-off house and peace of mind. For others, it's financial freedom, travel, or leaving something behind for family. Whatever your goal is, knowing where you stand helps you figure out your next move. So don't compare, but do prepare. Start where you are. Build from there. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more no-fluff breakdowns just like this. My name is Nico, and I'll catch you in the next one.